Okay, we are now on variable costing and absorption costing method. Okay, this is one of the topics na lumalabas sa actual board exam. And then, this is one of the basic topic that we need to learn so that we can be able to appreciate most of the topics in management advisory services. So, variable costing is also known as direct costing, while yung absorption costing, yun yung sinasabing full costing. Okay? So, once it is applied in computing only for net income. If we're going to check the formula, they are different. Because under variable costing, sales minus variable cost is equals to contribution margin less fixed cost is equals to net income. And while on absorption costing, we have sales minus cost of sales is equals to gross income less operating expenses is equals to net income. However, even sa dalawa, yung acceptable by generally accepted accounting principle is the absorption costing. Alam po natin yan. Kasi yun naman ang itinuturo sa fundamentals of accounting natin. And then, on variable costing, guys, it is usually and normally used if it is for internal reporting only. Yung pagkakaiba ng variable costing and absorption costing is that yung fixed cost, the fixed cost, okay, under variable costing, all fixed costs are considered period cost. Ano po ba yung sinasabing all fixed costs are considered period cost? Ito po yung sinasabing that regardless of activity, okay, kahit gaano man karami yung activity, the fixed cost, okay, will remain the same. Tumaas man na yung activity, bumaba yung activity, the total cost are considered expense lahat, While in absorption costing, only non-manufacturing period fixed costs are considered period cost, Okay? Yung ibig sabihin, non-manufacturing costs, okay? I-edit natin konti lang kasi para at least hindi maging redundant tignan. Okay? Lahat ng non-manufacturing fixed costs are considered period cost. Okay? Kasi there are two classes of cost then. We have the period cost and the product cost. Pag sinasabing period cost, all costs incurred throughout the year are considered expense immediately. Yung sinasabi namang product cost, there is a portion of that cost that can be considered part of the product, if not considered as expense. Okay? So, that is variable costing versus absorption costing. So, to appreciate the variable costing and absorption costing method, I prepared a basic example for you to understand. Okay, for example, during the year 2020, Luis Corporation's production was equal to its normal capacity of 1,000 units. It sold 900 units at a price of 50. Okay? And then, the following costs were incurred throughout the period. Okay? We have the direct materials at 12, direct labor at 10, and then that 12 is per unit yan Yung direct labor is at 10 per unit. Then the variable factory overhead is at 8 pesos per unit. The fixed factory overhead, okay, is 6,000 at its totality. Ibig sabihin, the total cost of fixed cost is 6,000. The variable selling and administrative cost is 5 pesos per unit. The fixed selling and administrative cost at its totality is 3,000. So, how are we going to compute the net income under variable costing and absorption costing system? Very simple lang po, Okay, let's begin with the variable costing system. Okay, take look, Okay, variable costing system. Costing, Una, let us determine the number of sales. According to problem, okay, according to the problem, we have 900 units sold multiplied by its selling price of 50. Ibig sabihin, the total sales that we have, gawin natin tong accounting figures, okay. Accounting figures, okay, that is 45. And then, we need to deduct the variable cost. Take note, we have two different variable costs here. The variable cost on the production and the variable cost related to selling and administrative. Take note, direct materials, direct labor, and variable factory overhead are variable cost under production. So, we have direct materials, okay, which is 12 pesos each, multiplied by 900, kasi 900 lang ang naibenta. So, we have 10,000. We have direct labor, sabi sa problem, we have 10. Multiply it by 900, kasi 900 lang din ang nabenta, we have 9,000. And then, we also need to include the variable variable factory overhead, which its cost per unit is 8. 8 multiplied by 900, that is 7,200. Considering we are using the variable cost, we need the variable costing, we need also to deduct the variable selling and administrative cost as part of deducting it to the sales to determine the contribution margin. So, the variable selling and admin, okay, and admin is how that is computin po natin. Sabi sa problem, that is 5 pesos per unit multiply by 900. So, that's it. So, 45. Okay, and then after that, we need to determine the contribution margin. Okay, so that is 45 minus 10,800 minus 9,000 minus 7,200 minus 4,500. That is our contribution margin. CM stands for contribution margin, guys. And then, we need to deduct less all fixed costs related to the, okay, fixed cost, no? We have fixed cost overhead amounting at its totality. Take note, the total fixed cost is 6,000. Okay, that is 6,000. So, buong 6,000 po, i-deduct natin yan under variable costing system. Same with the fixed selling and admin cost. Okay? Yung buong fixed selling and admin cost under variable costing na 3,000, ibabawas po natin yan. Okay? So, magkano kaya yung net income natin under variable costing system? The contribution margin, you need to deduct the 6,000 minus the 3,000. So, the net income under variable costing system is 4,500. Okay? So, ganun lang po kasimple yung variable costing system. Una, kunin lang yung sales based on its selling price, multiply the number of units sold, and then, yung mga variable costs like this, direct materials, direct labor, variable factory overhead, and the variable selling and administrative costs are multiplied to the number of units sold based on the per unit na cost nila. And then, you deduct the total variable cost to the sales so that you can able to determine the contribution margin. After ma-determine po yung contribution margin, we need to deduct all fixed costs incurred throughout the period. Yung buong amount, the 6,000 na fixed overhead, and the fixed selling and administrative expenses na 3,000 so that you can able to compute the net income under the variable costing system. Okay. How about under absorption costing? O, dito, under absorption costing. Okay, because this is the acceptable method, paano po natin kukumputin yon, yung net income? So, obviously, we need to follow the rule that okay, yung fixed factory overhead, not all fixed factory overhead are considered period cost because most of it will be considered product cost. Okay? So, yun po ang mangyayari doon. So, okay, we have the sales. The sales of the particular system, no, same pa rin po yun. Kung ano ay yung sales ng variable costing at yung ayun din po yung sales ng absorption costing. Okay? Hindi po yan magbabago. Okay? Take note of that. Okay? Absorption costing. Dagdagan ko lang para mas clear, no? Okay? And then, we need to determine the cost of sales because cost of sales yung kailangan. You know how to determine the cost of sales kasi itinuturo naman ito sa financial accounting and reporting na subject ninyo. Okay? And even on your conceptual framework yata as part of your review, it will also be tackled. No? So, we have the beginning inventory. Okay? Sir, wala naman po tayong beginning inventory. So, the beginning inventory will be 0. Okay? 0 po yung gagamitin natin. Okay? Move lang po tayo konti para at least ilipat natin ito para mamaya madali yung pag-determine, no? Okay, fixed cost, beginning inventory 0 kasi wala naman po tayong beginning inventory. Yung binigay lang is on the production. Okay? Tingnan natin ulit sa taas. Sabi lang sa problem that the production was equal to its normal capacity of 1,000. So, lahat po nung yan ay, okay, that's the normal capacity. So, ibig sabihin, once we multiply the cost of production, ayun, cost of production, okay, this includes, remember, the production cost under full costing, under full costing, that is direct materials, you need to multiply, magkano ulit yung cost ng direct material per unit, that is 12, okay, 12 multiply at its normal capacity para mahanap mo na yung cost of production, okay ha, nagko-compute pa lang po tayo ng cost of sales dito ha, and this is the most tricky na part. Then we have the direct labor. Okay, direct labor, and then at its normal capacity mo rin siya i-multiply, that is 10 multiply by 1,000 kasi 1,000 po ang na-produce, okay, yung na manufacture. We have the variable factory overhead, same din yung igagawa natin, which is at the cost per unit is 8. Okay? Is 8, no? 8 multiply by 1,000 and then yung fixed factory, okay? Yung fixed factory overhead, okay, na 6,000, ipapart mo siya as part of the product cost. Kasi under absorption costing, the fixed factory overhead will be considered as product cost. So, magkano po ang total cost of goods available natin? Cost of goods available or yung COGAS na tinatawag, okay? Okay, that is beginning plus 12 plus 10 plus 8 plus 6. Okay. So, okay, that is our COGAS. Ngayon, problema natin is the ending inventory. Okay. Ayon sa problem, there were 1,000 units produced but only 900 were sold. So, if we are going to deduct 1,000, if we're going to eliminate 900 from 1,000, we can immediately compute that the ending inventory is how much? It is at 100 units lang. Okay, ending inventory is at 100 units. Problema mo ngayon, how are you going to compute that? Okay, 100 units multiply at how much per unit. Okay, computein muna natin kung magkano yung per unit. The cost of production in this case, okay, the cost of production in this case, ito yon. Look, the cost of production, okay, per unit is being computed in a way na kunin mo lahat ng cost of production, ito yon. The 12, ito yung cost of production, hindi yung COGAS Okay, the cost of production, that is 12 plus 10, okay, plus 800 plus the fixed factory overhead of 6, that is your cost of production, and then divide it to the number of units produced para at least malaman mo kung magkano yung cost per unit of production. Okay, so divide that. 36 divide by 1,000. So, ibig sabihin, we have 36 pesos each per unit. So, that is the cost per unit natin. However, kasi may ending inventory tayo na 100, so the ending inventory will be equal to 100 multiply at its 36. The ending inventory is 3,600. Okay? So, can we able now to compute? Okay, for the ilipat ko lang to guys kaya para mamaya makompute para at least kumasya yung mini board. Okay? Sige. Okay. So, we have already the cost of sales na magkano? Okay. That is 36 minus 3.6, we have 32,400. That would be our cost of sales. Okay, ilipat natin sa column L. And then we deduct less. Okay, the operating expenses. Our operating expenses will be the variable selling, okay, and admin. Okay, kung magkano po yung nagastos lahat, okay, take note, it will be equivalent sa 4-5 na na-compute natin on the, okay, on the variable costing. So, we have 4,500, and then, lagyan natin ng figures, and then yung fixed, selling, and admin na 3,000. Okay? Ayun, itong 3,000 na to. Okay? So, we can now compute our net income. Okay? Under variable cost, absorption costing method. Okay? So, we have 45, that is the sales, minus the cost of sales, minus the variable selling, and minus the fixed selling. So, our net income will be 5,100. Take note, if we're going to look, why is it that the net income under variable costing is 4,500 while on the sales is 5,100? Unang reason po dyan is that under variable costing, lahat po ng fixed cost kinonsider natin na expense lahat. Sa variable costing, hindi lahat ng fixed cost on production kinonsider natin as expense. Okay, look, I prepare a reconciliation, If the variable net income is 4,500, yung difference, yung source of difference lang yan is the beginning and ending inventory pero pertaining to the fixed factory overhead. Considering that the beginning inventory is 0, we have the beginning inventory na 0. Yung kailangan mo na lang malaman, magkano yung ending inventory on fixed factory overhead lang pertaining to fixed factory overhead lang. Okay, para ma-compute yan, okay, look, this will be our computation. Take note, the fixed factory overhead in this case is 6,000 throughout the year. Okay? That is 6,000. And ilan po yung production natin? 6,000 i-divide mo sa number of units produced. So, lalabas that we have 6 pesos per unit on fixed factory overhead. And then, take note, we have 100 units remaining on the particular fixed cost, okay, or inventory, 100, okay, yun po yung natitira na lang kasi 1,000 ang na-produce, 900 ang naibenta, 100 ang natitira. So, you need to multiply the 100, multiply it to the fixed factory overhead cost per unit na 6 na na-compute lang natin kanina. So, that is 600. Once you add, no, the ending inventory value of the fixed factory overhead, then you minus the beginning inventory fixed factory overhead, lalabas po doon yung absorption net income. Okay? Which is 45 minus 0 plus 600. Ayun, that is 51. So, from this reconciliation of income, we can easily say that the net income of the variable costing and the absorption costing differs only because of the fixed factory overhead. No? Kasi on the fixed factory overhead under variable costing is recognized as period cost. While on absorption costing, this fixed factory overhead is recognized as product cost. So, yun po lahat yung dapat nating maalala on variable costing and absorption costing system. So, if you have questions, I will entertain questions right now.